Want to intro us? Are you opening it up?
I'm Tyler, and this is Tyler's girlfriend. We're back again.
Hey there YouTube, and welcome back to our channel Black and White. This channel is where we give our opinions on current events. Again, these are our opinions, which are neither fact nor are they in any way truth. They're just our opinions.
Are we still allowed to give our opinions? Is that okay still in this country?
I don't care.
Okay.
So,
Don't care. Alright.
for today's episode, we will be talking about Simone Biles.
Ooh. She doesn't even tell me things. I didn't even know that, so this should be fun.
Alright, so I found this video, Simone Biles, discussing what frustrates her about the world of gymnastics. So let's give it a watch.
I'm almost 99.9% sure if any other athlete were to do it besides me, they would give it credit. But since I'm already way ahead of everybody, they kind of want to pull it back. Because sometimes they don't think it's fair that I win all the time.
Wait, hold on. You know what I was just thinking? She's the only gymnast that I can name, but yet she doesn't get enough credit. I don't watch gymnastics, but yet I know who she is, but she doesn't get enough credit, so that's all I have to say. I was just thinking about that. It's kind of crazy, but whatever.
Yeah, I honestly cannot watch this video without laughing at the blatant narcissism that is just being spewed, almost projectile vomited.
Projectiled.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
I want to start off by just saying I truly believe that Simone Biles is a phenomenal athlete. I think she's a phenomenal gymnast. I think she's great at what she does, and I think that her athleticism, her dedication to her craft, and her perfectionism is not just admirable, but almost inspiring. I think it's great, so props to her, kudos to her for everything she's done, but I also do believe there is a thing as being a sore winner, and I think that that is what Simone Biles has become, just a sore winner. But I wouldn't blame it all on Simone Biles, because honestly I would blame it on media, who really put Simone Biles on this pedestal that I don't believe that she belongs on. I don't believe that any human being belongs on, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely think she is a phenomenal athlete, obviously. And then what does it matter what I say? I mean, it speaks for itself. And that kind of makes me think of my next statement, which is just that and we talked about this earlier, it's just strange to me that phenomenal athletes really care about what anyone else has to say or their opinion. Because you're an athlete, you don't get paid to talk, I'm not saying she shouldn't have a voice, but you don't get paid for anything else other than the sport, your performance, and what you contribute to it, and your overall athleticism. So it's just strange to me that she is so caught up in what other people think of her and what other people are saying, because at the end of the day, if she knows she's doing the best that she can do, and she's winning gold medals, and she's at the top of her class, why do you care? If I were her friend, I'd be like, don't even worry about it, because you've already got it. But again, I think it's odd that she doesn't feel like she's getting the proper recognition when she's already at the top of the heap. And I, don't hesitate to say that I believe that a lot of other people would say the same thing when I talk about, she's the only gymnast that I know. Most people, if you're not following gymnastics, you still know her name because of how great she is. So I think that it's a little misguided to say that she's, not receiving the correct attention or scores because they kind of already expect it from her. And we also talked about this earlier too. It's like, that's a great place to be in. It's like a Michael Jordan level, Kobe Bryant level, where you're only being compared to yourself because everyone else is so far behind where you're at. And she's kind of upset that, this same routine that she keeps doing isn't getting enough credit because no one else can really do it. But at the same time, it's like we've seen her do it so many times. I think there needs to be a little bit of an understanding that, we've seen you do it so much, so it's kind of lost its
value. It's
yeah,
satiated,
it's
what they would call it.
Yeah.
You know, like she set the bar here, right? So now the judges are grading here from 0. Like you can't just keep hitting this and expecting perfect 10s. You know, you set the bar here, so now you got to give them more. You know, you got to give them more for those higher scores. But I really want to break this video down statement by statement. So her first statement, she says, if any other athlete were to do it besides her, they would get correct credit. That's false, because when Simone Biles actually lost on the Sunday of the Olympic trials, it was not covered by the media. Nobody talked about it. Nobody talked about how Suni Lee beat her. Why? Because it's Simone Biles. We can't talk about her loses. We can only talk about her wins. And if she wins, everybody talks about it. If she loses, we all cry with her. If we see her cry, we all cry with her. But we can't, you know, not we, but the media fails to give anybody else correct credit. Suni Lee beat Simone Biles on that Sunday of the Olympic trials. And Suni Lee couldn't even give herself correct credit. And she said that, well, I probably only won, you know, because of a mistake that Simone Biles made, and it probably never happen again, because the media has created this environment for everyone in gymnastics that everybody must be beneath Simone Biles because she is the greatest of all time. Even though Simone Biles is doing tricks that other gymnasts have performed before. She is not the first gymnast to ever do a triple-double, or a double-triple, whatever it is, her signature move. She's not the first person
Which
to do
is
it.
what is being claimed.
Yes. I don't know if that's being claimed, but that's what she is like famous for landing the double-triple. But she is not the first gymnast in the world to have done it. So to sit here and give her all the glory is honestly not really fair. And then the next part I want to break down, but on a side note, congrats to Suni Lee, because she is a phenomenal athlete herself. She did phenomenal on the bars and vaults. Another thing that the media won't cover is that though Simone Biles won overall for the Olympic trials, she did not score the highest in the vault or the bars because she was beat by Suni Lee, who gave a outstanding performance. So congratulations to her.
You know, and the thing is like, great job for Simone Biles for being who she is and what she's done. I think what we're trying to communicate is the fact that no one else gets any credit, and there's no attention placed on anything else.
Exactly.
There's some mistruths being spoken, but there's no attention, like the fact that Team Russia beat us, and the Huffington Post came out with an article titled "Simone Biles has a rough first day," but in parentheses they put "for her," basically saying that even a rough day for her is still far beyond, you know, what anyone else can accomplish and do because she's just so great, and that's fine. But the Americans failed to finish atop the standings during any portion of an international event for the first time. To me, that's the story, especially when you had a couple missteps from Simone Biles. But that doesn't get talked about to a great extent because, you know, it's far more easier to market an individual than it is a team. You know, it's kind of sad. You know, I would like to see the American team win as a whole. I would love to see Simone Biles win an individual gold medal, but I'd love to see the whole team win a gold medal.
Yeah.
That would be, you know, the ideal situation. I think an environment where we're only focused on the star and not the rest of the team. You know, there is a whole other team there. I don't think that's really an American way of thinking.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
Exactly, and it's like what we talked about. When you look at the greatest athletes of all time, back to saying like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, not only were they great athletes because they were great at the sport that they played, but they were great athletes because they made everybody around them great as well. They were great leaders, they were great team players, you know. Michael Jordan took his team to victory, took the Bulls, took his teammates, made sure they were all great at what they did. Same thing with Kobe Bryant, took his team and his teammates to victory and uplifted them and brought out the same greatness that he brought out himself, he brought out in his teammates. That's what truly makes a great athlete. Simone Biles, which leads into my second part of deconstructing this video, is only worried about Simone Biles. She says, but since I'm already way ahead of everybody. So in that one sentence, not only does she tear down the entire world of gymnasts because she's way ahead of everybody, she tears down her teammates as well. So she's even saying that she's way ahead of the other American gymnasts on her team, which the scores show obviously she comes first all the time. But you know, as a gymnast that's on the team, that's not something you would want to really be proud of, because you're not competing against your team, you're competing with your team. And as it proved in Russia's loss, if you are the best one on your team but everybody else sucks, you lose with them.
Yeah, and ultimately I think one of my issues with it is, you know, the highest level athletes, like when you're talking about Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, they weren't known to be complainers. They're just doers. All right? If they had a bad game or if they lost, they came back 1,000 times better the next time. And, you know, when you're talking about a high level athlete, you know, she is close to that or in that realm when it comes to gymnastics, being like a Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, at least as much as she's talked about. You know, so I would hope for at some point, like again, she wouldn't be listening to the critics again, and this is kind of critical, but the whole point is that, you know, I would like to see not only her succeed but the whole team. You know, and I think that there's a little bit of dishonesty and a little bit misplaced focus when we're talking about, you know, her not getting enough recognition for what she's doing because she's already at a higher level. Well, why are you at the higher level? Because you got so much recognition. You know, and I'd like to see her, you know, not make as many excuses, but just come out and kill it, you know?
Yes. So in the next part she says, because sometimes they don't think it's fair that I win all the time. We already just proved that. Clearly she doesn't win all the time. Though she may win majority of the time, she doesn't win all the time.
Well, again, who cares if it's not? I mean, the world's not fair. I mean, nothing's
That's the thing.
fair.
She's saying
So
they don't think it's fair because she wins all the time. So she's attributing her poor scores to the fact that the judges don't want her to win all the time because she wins all the time, as opposed to attributing her
cop-out.
poor scores
It's a
to the
cop-out.
fact that she
It's a
didn't nail a
cop-out.
perfect landing. She fell off the balance beam. She just didn't give a phenomenal performance. She used the same routine that she used last year. You know, she didn't come with anything new. You know, instead of attributing to logical things like that, she just says, they're giving me poor scores because they don't think it's fair that I win all the time. I don't know. That whole video just like really rubbed me the wrong way. To see someone sit there and say, I'm not given the scores or the credit that I deserve because I'm so good,
Well, it's
and
not-
they don't want to admit
The
it.
thing is, it's not even logical.
If 2 + 2 is 4, right? And 5 + 5 is 10, okay. What the is this?
It's not even logical at all.
Because it's like they don't want to give me the scores I deserve because it's not fair. You know, like it's not fair that she's always winning, and no one else is getting a piece of the pie. When, you know, this isn't like little league baseball. This isn't t-ball. This is the Olympics. You know, if it wasn't her, it would probably be someone else. There's normally a standout in every sport. You got Michael Phelps. You know, we talked about Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. There's normally a standout. So if it wasn't her, it would probably be someone else, and hopefully it would be someone from the USA team. So in that light, it's great. But at the same time, it's like, you know, these excuses. And again, I guess what I was saying is it's not logical to sit here and say that, you know, it's not fair when it's a competitive sport where they don't hand out participation trophies.
Exactly.
It's based on competition.
Exactly. There's no
And-
science to gymnastics to say that if you give the same performance every single time, you will get the same scores every single time. That's not true. The more you are at the Olympics, the more the judges get to know you and know exactly what you are capable of. So if you are showing up after a whole year of training and you show up and give the same exact performance, you'll probably only get half the points that you earned last time because you could have spent that time learning something new, since you are the greatest of all time.
And even-
if you are going to be the greatest of all time and you're not going to land your vault perfectly, you're probably going to get a significantly larger deduction because, again, you are the greatest of all time, so you should be doing that.
And even if there is some truth to what she's saying, like, you know, they're tired of seeing her same routine, then do something different, then innovate. Because when you're talking about the greatest athletes ever, you know,
They did not say
you're
the
talking
same.
like competitive sports, individual sports, more individual sports like snowboarding or skateboarding. You got Tony Hawk, you got Shaun White. Do something different.
Break your own records.
On the highest level. And be innovative. Create something that no one's ever seen before. Don't sit here and complain to us like we're just supposed to give you something because no one else can do the same thing you've been doing all the time.
Yeah, it's not a popularity contest.
It just gets old after a while, I think.
It really does.
And this idea of like victimizing yourself when you've been so successful and everyone knows your name and she's getting $1 million endorsements.
And she's still number one.
I don't know about the regular person,
get.
but I don't want to hear it. Like
I
don't really care to the point where, I feel bad for her. We're talking about this because it's something that, I think is important, especially in regards to, young people growing up. When they see someone talk like that, it can just build this knee-jerk reaction to make excuses and to quit, and to not take responsibility, for yourself and your own performance, because that's what really is going to build excellence.
Exactly. And that's exactly what stunts her own growth. The mindset of, I'm not getting good scores because I'm just too good. So I'm going to keep doing what I do until I get the scores that I deserve. Even though in reality, if she keeps doing what she does, people are just going to get bored of her. And the judges are just going to get bored because they've seen it before. And there's just no humility there, and it's really unfortunate because I know that she has worked, tirelessly to get where she is. No one's saying that she hasn't, but there's absolutely no humility there. And again, on that note, I don't entirely blame Simone Biles for her ego or how she is. I blame everybody that writes about Simone Biles. I blame the media, I blame the journalists, because they really fabricate and embellish the atmosphere around her. LA Times was writing about one of her competitions, and they were writing about how she won overall in the Olympic trials, and they literally said she beat the second place person by nearly a 5-point spread. The spread was only, in actuality, 2.26 points of a difference.
Man, they're really hard.
Now,
they're so tough on her.
I'm not the best at math, but I do remember how rounding up works, right? So you can't round up 2.2 to 5. That's not how it works. You can round up 2.2 to actually just 2 because it's less than 2.5, so you round down. So 2.26 LA Times, it's not nearly 5. It's really nearly 2.5, right? But it's language like that and the verbiage that is used like that makes her seem like phenomenal. People actually aren't going to do the research to see what the score difference was, but I did. But a lot of people would be like, nearly 5 points. She beat him by nearly, that's basically 5 points. That's a lot of points. And it is, but so is 3 points. So when you're adding on 3 points to 2 points, that's a big stretch.
Well, it just shows the bias. And then when you have someone complaining about how other people are viewing her or critiquing her, it's just like, I gotta say, it still seems to be weighing a lot heavier in your favor than not.
Exactly.
So, and it's hard to feel bad for someone that's been so successful. Like, why can't we just appreciate the success? Why can't we just appreciate the level of success instead of complaining about how the judges don't give her the score she feels she deserves all the time? I'm sure, might be crazy, but I'm sure she's not the only athlete that feels like they should have got a better score. But
I'm sure she's not. But what's crazy is she needs more credit, even though she is the only Olympian that walks out with a goat embroidered into her leotard. Mm-hmm. I honestly am tired of all the credit she's given because I know there's else out there in the world of gymnastics, and I honestly would love to see other people succeed, or at least get on her level so she can feel like that it is a competition. Even though there are obviously Suni Lee people that are on her level and able to compete with her, I would love to see the media cover that more and to kind of knock down at that huge ego that they've really built around Simone Biles. Mm-hmm. That's all I have to say, honestly.
Yeah, I think I've said enough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's it for this video. So comment down below on how you guys feel about Simone Biles and the Olympic gymnast
Definitely.
team.
And I would like to give a shout out to Ben Affleck and J-Lo. They've been killing it lately. And,
Oh my
and
gosh.
I have to
Oh
say,
my
you know,
gosh.
if I was going to define the most romantic, beautiful couple in America today, it would be J-Lo and Ben Affleck. So you go, guys.
Media stunt or true love? What do you think? One answer.
Oh, it's true love. I got pictures to prove it.